I know, it's really, it's the currency of
Anyway, so I didn't. So I think it's going to be those people
No, not so well.
Well,
Okay, make it to the flight.
On Friday, I work.
we know it's that way.
Yeah, so leave it seven.
We're going to get a break.
Wait, I'll be here. His brother lives there. He was diagnosed with lung cancer. Finally kind of got it cured, so I would say.
Okay.
Never met him. Well,
How are you? Good.
that.
Everywhere come in. Okay today. Marcy, Commissioner Mullen is here today. She texted me 2 hours ago. She get out of town. Well, whenever you're ready.
That's why I am ready.
Oh, let me just. Okay. Carry on if anybody wants to.
Color.
I like the color. Fucking number.
When we get really bored. Okay, it's the 5 o'clock or a little after 5, and it's the meeting for the work session to discuss some code issues that Eddie has brought to us in the packet. And it's June 15th, excuse me, I'm looking at the minutes. Session at 5 o'clock, like I said, it's Monday, so we're ready to go. Mr. Salazar, you can lead us through this process.
All right, so this is the third work session we've had regarding some of our codes we've been reviewing, trying to make it consistent, if not detailed, better, a little bit more clear for everyone, and also trying to get the commission to kind of be on the same page, right? Sometimes that's not always going to happen, but at least have a understanding that as a commission itself, what direction we need to go with. So the very first one, there was a series of subjects that we talked about, but I can mention the last time I was only going to pick a few to discuss because there were a little bit too many. We were all over the place, right? So we wanted to kind of focus on a couple more for permit fees, amendment in particular for the building permits. So if you look at on your 18
what?
8, I'm sorry, 15.
Oh,
Sorry,
15.
15?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, which is building code. The way I work, usually my understanding how a working document works is, I think we've gone through this before. anytime you want to omit something, you leave it there, you strike through it, and it's in red. That way we can see what's being added. And anything we
Yeah.
want to add to, we obviously add it with in blue fonts,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So if you scroll down, it's going to go down on that ordinance. It's going to go down to, it's a very minimal, not very minimal, but it's a very, in the very back,
Okay.
which is page 8 of 8. It's this, expiration. We discussed, what happens if, there are no changes in the permit and it expires. They get an extension, and then do they get a second extension and third extension and such? Some of these projects, we've talked, they do take some time over, the amount of time that we've allowed. So the added proposed addition would be the all building permits shall expire 12 months from the date of issuance by the community development department. So that was another thing we talked about. They start.
When's the clock start?
When's the clock start, right?
Right.
It's a lot of times, some of these permits, they weren't quite ready because there were some conditions that needed to be met and so. So whenever there actually is issued from the community development, that's when the clock starts. And then a 6 months extension may be granted for half the original fee at the time of expiration. And then I added additional 6 months extension may be granted for the half original fee, provided no changes in original plans or conditions are made. Any questions or comments on that?
I guess I have a question on, remember we talked about before, we used the word fee, and there's different portions of the fee. So in this, when you say original fee, what fee is that? Because it's two
The
items.
overall fee,
Oh, the overall,
the
okay.
review and
And
the permit.
Okay.
Now I'll add that. I'll put overall fee, so there's no confusion.
Or maybe even say what the fee is.
Clarify.
Yeah, review fee and construction.
And then on G, the refund. There was a question about what happens if it doesn't get approved. The refund, if the request for a building permit is not approved, a refund for the permit shall be made minus the review fee.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. And then on 1545030, A, B, C, D, all the way to G, I think it was. The exceptions. This is something I added. We didn't discuss this. This is something I added on here, just for you all know that we are going to have a hearing next week, next Monday on the 22nd, and it's going to be regarding this section, fee exceptions. Right, and what this is about, we had a application from the school next door.
Oh, right.
That the fees, some of those projects that they do are pretty substantial, and the fee ended up being about, I believe it was like 63,000 or something like that. And so, and it would have been nice, but I think in lieu of being a good neighbor, I guess I should say, or a partner, and working together with other agencies, obviously, that's where this comes in. And basically what it states is exceptions to school districts, other government agencies and such, for permit fees. Including ourselves, we don't have to pay, sometimes somebody actually has, you guys gonna pay the permit fee?
So extension here, we won't have to pay. Yeah, 'cause it's
We're paying
government
ourselves,
facility.
really.
Well,
Why
yeah.
go to the- But yeah, that's
Yeah.
not something that.
Okay.
So anywho, we don't know what's gonna come out of that yet, because again, the hearing, they're gonna have a hearing and they might make some changes, but I just put that on there to keep my things in order and also kind of give you a little preview of what's coming.
And when's the public meeting?
It's 22nd, next Monday.
Thank you.
It's posted.
So yeah, unless you all want any questions, I don't think we need to focus too much time on that, because again, many of that can be changed.
No offense.
But
Is
that's
there
all I have for
anything,
that one.
is there anything that kind of like flashes red flag for anyone?
No, just to me, it's just an exception. I mean, maybe the wording might be a little bit, I don't remember exactly what it says, but nothing that really stood out to me.
Yeah, I think it would be prudent to wait till the public hearing before we delve much into it.
All right, so if no one's got any questions, we'll pass on the next one. And the next one's going to be the historical residential development standards, which we talk about RVs. And this is in the 1835. And I think that one was one that we discussed, and not everybody agreed on the same outcome. So I try to, not that I'm agreeing with anybody, but I put down, try to be, again, unbiased, trying to put down as general, vague, or as the total consensus, but it might change, obviously, with your input. And basically what I put at number 7, which is the last page, it is the architectural style design standards, I-7. This is no person shall stand, stop, or park a vehicle on any street or property for the principal purpose of living within the vehicle. An RV, and then it says scratch throughout. An RV can only be used for the dwelling purpose for a maximum of 14 days. There can be then scratched out permanent connections of water, sewer, or electricity. I did add this. This kind of came up with me in the Larry in my office. An RV or recreation vehicle should not be stored or within the front or side setback adjacent to any public street. And the reason why I had that on there, obviously, is just so it's not an eyesore in a sense, right?
Right.
So if it's in the public's view, you don't want to have the RV really in the public's view, unless it's covered or whatever. I guess that's my. You guys can obviously discuss that. And see
Yeah,
what you
and I
think.
think I'd like to. Camper that's parked in my carport. It's an RV.
It's not a recreational vehicle. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
it could be the
Even-
sand rails.
even-
It could be a lot of
Even snowmobiles or
jet skis.
jet skis. So it's kind of like we got to be a little careful about what we define RVs in this code.
So, question, Eddie, is, so that we talked about permanent, but we also talked about temporary, did we not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is that language not in this?
Again, I left it open for discussion. I mean,
Okay.
we can, because there were so many disagreements, I don't know which side to pick, right? So I just left it as is, as simple, so I can add to
Okay.
whatever and then, like I mentioned, if we still can't agree, and I think that's what's going to be decided during the
No
hearing.
connection period.
Right.
Yeah, that's
That's what it
Again, this is
says.
in the
Yeah.
historical zone, right?
Yeah.
The consensus is that it should be all zones, should only be in the historic zone, be around the plaza area, and I mean, all those could come into place depending on how the commission feels.
And I think some of the issues with connections, whether they're temporary or permanent, is you have a problem with cross contamination.
How?
There could be a
Could
problem.
yeah.
Some of them have to have I forgot what it's called.
Check out.
Check valve. You know,
Or a backflow preventer.
backflow preventer. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the whole deal of this part is this, the whole deal of this part is we don't want anybody living in an RV, right, for forever, right? We don't want anybody living in an RV. They're only supposed to be living in their home. That's what the property is for.
Mhm.
That's basically what everybody agrees. Now, as far as temporary, those kinds of things, or where it's stored, I mean, that's subjective to what anybody thinks.
Yeah, what's temporary?
Are we gonna eventually flesh that out, where they're allowed a little bit more?
It's so, yeah, we can do that now. I mean,
Because, we have friends who have a neighbor that has their RV right up against their property. Is there not I would think there'd be some kind of setback.
Is that Paul and Jane?
it's just because it's not a permanent
They moved.
structure. I don't know how. Is there anything that you can think of as far as? But we can come up. But I don't know. How
It would go that, on the building side, it could possibly depend on how strict you want to make it. It could possibly be construed as a temporary facility or a temporary structure.
Yeah. Right.
Which is allowed to be there for a certain amount of time. Okay, and then you as the jurisdictional authority have the right to set whatever boundaries you want. I mean,
It's kind of like a shed, right? Like a temporary shed.
yeah.
But it's parked there all the time. I mean, it's a permanent parking
I
spot.
think part of that issue was that they were actually part on their property.
Yeah.
And they moved it to the front. Well, it's front and center on the road. So it's like,
Well, see, that's what's hard, right? Because the properties are so small that there's not much room, right? It's just
Right.
kind of, and that's why in the historic zone now, I'm assuming that in the RF and the RA, we wouldn't have a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why we need to really look at this and think that because it's such a small properties, they could become, a nuisance or
Really
learning.
right. Yeah. I like that idea.
I don't like the part about the stored ones. I mean, you only use them 3 or 4 times a year, maybe more, maybe not. But if you want to store your RV at your house, you should have every right to, even though. So when you say right here, adjacent to public street, do you mean like right on the street or, okay, so you have a house right here, you have a side, say driveway kind of right here, can you put it right there and the street's right here? I mean, how, define that to me.
The street is your setback, which is 7 feet, right? So when I'm talking about corner home, homes that are lots that are in the corner, right? The whole idea is not to have it again, blocking your landscape or blocking, your home or having in the front setback. So if you live in a corner home, your front will be maybe facing west, right? And because you're in a corner, you still have another public, view from this side.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
what I'm talking about, right? So it'd be adjacent to a public street, which is a corner home. You need to be able to accept that really you have 2 front setbacks.
Yeah,
if you want
exactly.
to
Exactly.
So, but as long as it's set back far enough, say, I don't know.
No,
to
it's
get
gonna be
enough-
7 feet, as long as it's
Gotcha.
reached 7 feet.
And we will try and enforce, because there are properties, people in town that probably don't have utility hookups, but people are living in trailers and RVs.
Yeah, that's what's gonna be.
Yeah, right? Just up the
Oh, yeah.
street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw the lights on the
That's a
other night.
longer
That's when it was
story.
coming
We
on
won't-
me.
we won't
They're
talk
like,
about
oh,
that
very
story.
good.
Yeah, I would have to get with the
It's not
attorney on that. I don't know what we can do. I'm sure there is, but what we can do to determine that they're living, right? I mean, how do you, because somebody, he's
When
always
they have a
there.
dog there that.
Yeah.
So-
Generally, when you're from the outside, looking at from the outside, when certain things establishes permanency, right? It's like utility hookups, a flower bed or some kind of structure, those kinds of things that they're. Now, if there's just the RV and then he has a dog, but there's no hookups or evidence on the outside
They're
that,
camping in it.
so there's like a fence around it.
Great
Those kinds of
example,
things is what I'm.
right?
So yeah, we'll definitely enforce that. That's the whole main thing is we don't want somebody living in RVs when they're supposed to be living in.
Who's enforcing that? Who's gonna enforce
Code.
that?
Code.
Eventually, once we get to.
All right.
Any other comments on that?
Just once again, so we're slashing out the word permanent. We're not adding temporary. Temporary is a subjective term, right? So we're just gonna leave it out. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And we're leaving out that 14-day thing.
Yeah, again, because to enforce it's just hard.
Yeah.
If your relatives come in and want to, stay there in an RV in your property, I'm not gonna, even if I wanted to, or somebody complain about it, I'm not gonna be able to determine that, how long you've been there, first of all, or even visiting, unless you're, again, you're popping out the canopies and you're bringing out the ice chests and you're making.
Rosemary
that
shows
obviously,
up.
You're having a party.
Yeah, that's a different issue, but if somebody wants to park there, you know what I mean, and it's
Yeah,
not
have a
something
party.
that's gonna create,
Okay.
a nuisance. And
I'm gonna still go
Thank
on
you.
record, I don't like the idea that we're not wheelchairs on small lots.
and ultimately, I think that's what really is important. I think they're too small to that, but at the same time, it's like, you need to go store it,
There's
right? If
something-
you want an RV, there's an RV storage thing,
That
and that's
costs-
gonna cost money, and
costs a lot of
then
money.
really don't, again, that's, it's just difficult.
Unnecessary burden.
It can be
Yeah.
financial.
Or maybe you make friends somebody in the RF zone, will let you put it out.
Hey,
Well, there you
or
go.
a price.
Before you know it, this
A
whole
business.
RF.
Moving on to, what's the next?
I'm glad you did it this way.
18.
The other way was.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one's going to be 1850 uncertainty of boundaries. I'm working on our GIS map system. That's why I kind of threw this in here. And I just wanted to reassure, what I'm reading is the same thing that you all are reading. And this is going to be on 1815-030, uncertainty of zone boundaries. We have our zoning map. I don't know, let me pop it up. We have our zoning map. that I'm, again, doing this GIS, and this is gonna be our Bible in a sense when it comes to code. And it's not put together very well.
1815.
And obviously, once you start determining what property is what zone,
Right.
that's gonna be, could potentially become very controversial.
I don't have
It's very small.
It's on page 2 of 4. 1815-030. Uncertainties of districts.
it.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think,
Are you gonna get
can I show it?
Find it?
Sure. No, he doesn't have
Are you missing sheet?
15.
1815 is what I'm missing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can show.
All right, so the map is on the screen of the TV. Did I give you guys a map also? No,
That's
I
okay.
do have copies.
We can see it.
All right, so here is what is on, let me first read it and then we'll go at it. It says B, it says where a zone boundary divides a lot or parcel, the location of such boundaries unless precisely indicated on the official zoning map by dimension shall be determined by the use of scale, the larger, which I scratched out the use of scale, the largest area of zoning of, and then I added zoning parcel is identified on the zoning map. So pretty much what I'm thinking is really if a property, and I'll show you one here, if a property had, there's about 4 or 5 of them, is showing
2 different zones, right?
the zoning goes right through it.
Right.
These laptops are just wonderful. Especially when I don't have a mouse, I get it.
The internet's been weird at my house.
From last night, from yesterday, yeah. The
The
rain.
screen is kind of bright, huh? How did you get that? Pushing it? Oh, there it goes. Get somewhere. I'm working it.
Got this, Eddie.
All right, got it. Get more. All right, so see this one right here. All these parcels, but they're not. This is just something that cuts right through all these
Right.
parcels.
This is
Right,
off
so
Snow
it's
Road.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. So say like this one, this is someone. So say like this one right here, what this is saying, if I was to maneuver RA, right? Right, same thing, with this one, this will be RF.
And that's what you pretty well said.
Exactly. But is generally you don't do zoning that way, right? Zoning, you go off of actual physical boundaries such as the street, a lateral, a canal, So whenever we redo these, it's going to be all jagged. It's not going to look, clean, right? So, but I just can't decide, or I don't think the commission is going to, we can maybe propose that all of these right here in this section all be RF.
Right.
But what's that going to do with some of these properties will become non-conforming because if they're under 5 acres,
Right.
So again, there's a lot to, but for now, it's just stating that anything that has like this one would be considered RA because it's a larger scale of zoning than the RF. So that's what that's saying. And that's pretty much what I just wanted to make sure everybody
I don't
agreed
know what else you
what
could
it
do.
says. So I read it again. This is where a zone boundary divides a lot or parcel, the location of such boundaries, unless precisely indicated on the official zoning map by dimension, shall be determined by the largest area of zoning parcel is identified on the zoning map.
So,
Questions, comments?
question, yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So my question is, so what if we have residents of the town of Mesilla that are in the RF that want to switch over to RA? How long do we keep on going to the river? Like what's the plan? What's our intention? Is just to hold it as is?
Yeah, hold it as
For
is,
the
but
RF.
just give it a label, either a zone,
Okay.
either RA or RF. You just gotta label it something. Right now, some of those are just on both sides.
Okay.
So as far as if somebody wants to become RA, they would just definitely have to go through the rezoning process to get it rezoned.
Do we not see that happening at some point?
I don't know. That's something that I was gonna save this, but we actually has something to do with the parcels. I had a meeting with one of the surveyors, Moy Surveying, and
Right.
we brought up the non-conforming, I guess, parcels or to the BOT on the last meeting.
Yeah,
Right.
that was exciting.
And one of the things, one discussion we had was that, some of these parcels we have were made non-conforming whenever the Del Rio drain came in through EBID in the 1930s.
Right.
And what that did, it split a parcel in half for one instance, right? So even though it's still a full 5 acres, actually 11, even though it's still minimum 5 acres, this side is, maybe 1
Less,
acre, which it's not attached to the parcel. So
Right.
in my eyes, and then the same thing with Moy Surveying, they're considered to be 2 separate parcels, right? He can write a property deed for each individual parcel legally because they're not adjacent, they're not touching each
The
other.
discussion was about taxing.
Yeah, but so
Yeah,
what's
that came
happening
up.
whenever you go to
Yeah.
Doñana County,
Right.
their mapping that they have which is this one, right? Except you can click on it and it gives you information, is a partial for the boundary lines,
Right.
right? But Macias has always looked at, my understanding, Macias has always looked at this parcel from the county as a legal boundary. Necessarily, it's not always. Click on it, it says it's not for legal interpretation or whatnot. Anywho, it's going to come up. It was out of their control.
Yeah.
Right. Now we'll decide. Part of the GIS. I keep saying GIS. You understand what GIS map is, right?
Right.
So a GIS is just a map, it's exactly like this one, but it has layers. So if I want to just look at the RF zone, I just hit a little eye and it just pops up at the bar right. So it kind of eliminates a lot of the rubbish, so you can concentrate on whatever you want to look at. So one of the layers I'm going to have is all the layers going to have all the non-conforming lots that we have that nobody able to build on it, right? So we can visually see, the capacity, how many and where they're at, and then what do we want to do with them, right? Now maybe we don't want to do anything, but I still want to look at them to see if something along the way then slip through the cracks, such as the rural drain that we can possibly fix and address. Another one is over here by the R1, and I think we talked about that one of the cases that we had.
Yeah.
But on the R1 zone, the R1, which is R1, the single family. What am I taking? Sorry. No tiene botón en my mouse. I got her. Aquí. That's better. That's what I'm used to. Got it. That's what. Oh, thank you. All right. So a lot of these R1, whenever I asked, how come these properties are much smaller than 1 acre? Who approved this 1 acre parcels? I mean, less than 1 acre parcel. Why would we name it R1? So then it's just one thing opens up so many other questions that creates more work. So I started looking at some of these subdivisions. It's not all one subdivision. There's about 4 of them, 4 subdivisions here.
Right.
2 of the subdivisions were approved by Messiah in the 1975, 1976. I was instructed that not all these parcels that are under 1 acre are non-conforming, so they can't develop anything on them. They can't put any sheds, they can't put any additions. So to me, it's like, how is that fair, right? We approved the subdivision.
Yeah.
First of all, 2 of them, and the other one we annexed them. Now after annexation, we guys, well, sorry, you guys can't do anything. So
Right.
sometimes I get phone calls and they're like, hey, I want to put a shed or I want to do this. Like, well, sorry, you're not conforming, you can't do it. And I think we need to take another
That's
look
not
at
a good answer.
Yeah, I think I'll take it. So we brought that up to the board of trustees, and we're going to look into it more.
Eddie, I think there was some discussion during that meeting, I believe, but you and I've had a discussion before, is that we need to do overlays In other words, R1, I mean, you just said it doesn't meet the standard. So I would suggest that we look at an overlay that kind of pulls those out.
Yeah, it could be, so some people like overlays, there's good and bad things about them.
Yeah.
But either overlays are rezoned, and we talked about R2, R1, or, maybe clean up also the boundary lines to where it goes all the way down Conway, you know what I mean? And, maybe annex or at least request, but you can't do that because they're already, we are within the cruises, right? And again, there is no state statute, but one of the last meetings, the mayor also mentioned that he'd like to propose to the state with the support of the board of trustees, a means of a municipality or subdivision to de-annex themselves from a larger municipality for the purpose of annexing into a smaller one, right? Where there was some actually concern because they feel, well, maybe Mesilla de-annexes themselves and then it's going to be absorbed by Las Cruces. Well, the way it was written, you can't do that. A bigger town cannot absorb a smaller municipality, but a smaller municipality, due to the size and to be able to sustain itself, where sometimes it might need to be able to take some other properties.
That makes sense.
And not just this area, but also Avenida de Mesilla that goes all the way up to the highway.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's to me, it's one of the major arteries, right? Highway 28, and it also has a exit on and on off route. Most of the bypass are on a highway that they want to make a quick stop, gas stations, fast food, away from the plaza, right? Something that we wouldn't affect us as much. Maybe we're able to annex it, something like that. That in itself can create revenues to be able to protect and preserve, our town how we want to keep it.
That's part of our comprehensive plan.
Exactly. And not try to grow
Yeah.
already existing commercial zone, leave it as is, and just kind of look for other means to. So anyway, again, that's just we're kind of getting off the subject, but that's to answer your question, Mr. Deputy.
Another question, sir.
Oh, I'll try to make it short.
One night, one.
I'll try to make it.
Maybe some more time.
I'm so sorry. What does the term overlay mean? I think I know.
Well, for instance, let's use historic residential. I mean, it's a lot of the places don't really define historic residential. In other words, they new structures and what have you. So I guess the question is, should we require I'm talking about the outlying areas. It's all in HR, but could you have an HR1 or an HR2 that kind of better defines, and I think it's more fair to those people that, there's a neighbor out there's several neighbors that their houses have just been built.
Mhm.
And should they qualify for all the restrictions we have on HR because we just have one HR?
Right.
Or should we do an overlay? That's what I was kind of thinking.
Like steps, like layers.
Well, so maybe
HR1,
it might be an
HR2.
HR2, yeah.
Okay.
So
I just
so
never
it
heard
could
it.
be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never understood that term. That makes sense.
So for instance, to add a little bit to the overlays, right? So you look at Calle del Sur right here, where right now our minimum size for a property, right, to be able to build is 8,000 square feet, right? You can build two homes on one property, but it's got to be 16,000 square feet. Each one has got, and then you can still maintain it in one parcel. But if you notice these all right here on this side of Calle del Sur, I don't think any of these really should qualify for a historic district, right? Because these properties here, even though some might be over 50 years old, but they're not the significant that would be around the plaza.
The block,
Right,
you
so-
can see the block, right?
Correct. So the plazas, obviously we want to preserve the more significant, should have more stringent or more stricter, build. Maybe the plaza should be, no building should be built unless it's an Adobe building, right? Or something similar, right? But out here, same thing with these people over here with Mesilla, what is it, Mesilla Farms or Mesilla? I keep missing them up.
Yeah.
Mesilla Farms.
Yeah.
All these properties are historic, and there's nothing historic about these
No.
homes, right?
That's a new
So
concept.
how did this happen? I'm assuming it happened because they wanted to reduce the properties to be able to build at least down to 8,000 square feet.
Right.
Because if it was still an R1, these properties will have to be a lot bigger, and they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be
That was
concerned.
intentional.
Yeah.
Which you can do that, but the way to do that is called the cluster subdivision.
Right.
You guys understand how cluster
Yeah.
subdivision
Oh, yeah.
works?
But that's all just only in RF.
Well, any property, but most of them will be
Yeah.
RNF because it's a larger parcel. So
Right.
if you have this, for instance, this parcel is 20 acres, right? And you want to, 20 acres, you can only put 5 houses on it, right? According to
Right.
the standard.
Yeah.
So if you talk to the subdivider and say, in lieu of saving the green belt, we're going to allow you to do 20 homes at a much smaller rate, so you're clustering them in one spot. But the remainder of it, say for instance, you're going to leave 10 acres behind. The remainder of it has to remain to be farm RF, only one primary resident, and it has a covenant till you can no longer subdivide that. Right. I have not found one cluster subdivision, and I think it's a great tool, but I have not found one cluster subdivision in this year. And that's how you save the greenbelt. It's putting all these covenants on some of these RF zones.
Smaller acres.
Exactly. But anyway,
Maximum.
that's with overlays. That's what
That's the
overlay
answer.
will be something over something like this,
Got it.
right? It's because, or you have Mr. Alexander here. He's agricultural, right smack down in the center of so he would be, either grandfather clause or whatever. Maybe it's overlay with agriculture in the historic plaza. But yeah, that's coming. We just got so much stuff that we need to work on.
Hey, Eddie, I did have a question on C. If the public street, alley, or right of way, or public easement is the drainage issues that you talked about, that it's kind of split in some property, but that's not considered an easement, is it? Because
If
it's
a
own.
public street, alley, or right of way, or public easement is
Is it
vacated,
considered
the
utility?
area
is what
vacated shall
I'm-
acquire the same zone.
Right.
It's gonna take me a little bit to kind of put my thoughts to that. It's just like the public street, alley, right of way, or public easement is vacated, the area vacation.
But how
Yeah,
does
most-
a public
It should.
be vacated? How does a public easement vacate? When do you give that up? When do you give up a public street or an alley?
Yeah.
Mm,
You don't vacate it, so how can it become?
Well, it's an
personal
easement,
property?
but it's no longer your property, is it?
Unless,
Well, there's some easements, it's
Usually
your
for
property,
water,
but you have the
power
right of
lines.
way to
should
use
be
it.
your
Okay.
property, yeah.
So that wouldn't be the case with EBID, right? The channels.
That wouldn't be what?
It wouldn't be the same case as.
No,
Because
no.
they own
Would-
those.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, your question?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna.
it's okay. When it's fine. If you go back to the first part, which was, those properties are divided RF and R1 or whatever. it was. Right there. So
These right here.
that's happened before, and we applied for like a variance or whatever to call it one or the other. Have they not?
One time there was this one in particular did
Just one.
this one.
Oh.
So, but it's never gonna, this is not gonna be redone so that it could be down that street instead of in half?
It can. It's
So
just
when is that it makes more sense to do it that way. But so is that ever coming? If not, then each one of these has to apply for if they're
Zone
concerned about it, for a zone change. If they're not concerned about it, it's not gonna affect us either way until
it
they're
does.
concerned.
Somebody wants
And if-
that's why y'all want to be proactive.
Yeah, you
But
never.
we've only had one person do that, so,
No, so
and
far.
then what if, so this person, because it's a RA, that one particular
Mhm.
property. And they're not, but what if I say, no, I really don't wanna be RA, I know that most of it's in that side, but I wanna be all in the green. Like, who determines that, like who?
Well, you don't get to pick
It's
what zone you're in. You get to
Well,
be the zone that you're in.
But
By
you're
the-
both zones.
But that's why it's written here. Again, that's why I mentioned is
the largest.
our zone states that we need your zone is determined by how much
how much-
zoning is on your property.
I understand.
But yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
just
fight you over that.
yeah, it will be. And I agree
Yes.
that you mentioned when are we gonna do it? Is we are the ones that start
Well,
proposing
let's
all
do it
this
that
stuff,
way,
so-
but it makes more sense to do it in a orderly fashion when there's a street.
Yes.
Then that's where we want the boundary, you don't want it in half of, so why not move it all the way to where that RA is, where that road, whatever that road is. Move it that
Stuff.
way. No, so everybody on that side can be green and a
frescoes.
median.
See, but what happens if you do that though? If there happens to be a property that you move the green and now there's a 3-acre parcel there, now he's
That
not
changed
conforming, now you can't build a house on it.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? So that's why and this map really was done by Doña Ana County, right? They did it for us, you know, out of courtesy. So I think whenever they put the zoning together, they just kind of like try to get as close as they could, and then here you go. So it wasn't properly defined, right? So that's why I'm falling back on this section of the ordinance that says whichever one has the most zoning on it is the one we need to adhere to,
That
right?
does not make sense.
Plus, when these maps were made, wasn't like at one point, a lot of the parcels belonged to like one family.
Mm-hmm.
But when their families passed away or whatever the case
So
may
they
be, they, oh, well, Joe gets this, Andy gets that,
That's
Ralph
exactly
gets
what
this.
happened.
So they split it up kind of as equal as they want.
See, there's
So it makes it difficult to make an
Yeah.
actual
So now.
proper zone map.
See, there's a different kind that wasn't aware of so just quite recently. It's a property law with has to do with help me out here when there's a family owner dies and they need to split up the parcels, they probate, right? It goes to
Oh, yeah.
probate.
Right.
So in probate, they can split up the properties how they want, right? Because of it's all monetary, it's all property,
Yeah,
and they don't necessarily have to adhere to municipal code, right? Because they're entitled to an inheritance, right? Supersedes
Right.
whatever, right? But what's going to happen? Municipality, just because that happens, doesn't mean the municipality has to honor that decision and allow them to build. So now you're stuck in where the property is 1 acre. There's nothing you can do with it, right? Because the town's not going to allow you to do it, but it can't tell you not to split. Exactly. So only thing you can do is
Unless,
party
I
farming.
mean, too, unless it's in the
Right.
trust.
Yeah, and that's why we get
Can't
stuck
do
with
much with
Yeah.
it.
So
That
yeah.
was that one property I was kind of telling you about,
Mhm.
Yeah.
kind of touched on.
Yeah.
But-
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's and when the ordinance doesn't change and it's not a living document, you don't kind of keep up with all those changes. You kind of get stuck. What decisions do I make? Because now you're like, you know. And sometimes you got to make like Band-Aid. You got to rip it out, move that line over. You know what I mean, and make it right, right? But it's not our decision. I mean, we can recommend, and then see what the board says. But yeah, and we definitely need to redefine the property lines and overlays.
Well, this took the longest, and it was one sentence.
So we're moving on.
Moving on.
So does it
So we're just
stay-
gonna leave it at how I
Yeah,
have it, right?
yeah.
It's just, all it is,
That
it's
makes
just,
sense.
it's just interpretation.
Yeah.
You know, we talk a little bit more about other stuff, but really, it's just the purpose of interpreting that it's gonna be read the same way. Okay, the last one is variances and special use permits, scheduled hearings. As I was amending this ordinance for us to review, it clicked on. It's like,
1885.
I got it, it's like,
Okay,
wow.
thanks.
But then I forgot, and then I gotta read it again. So really, there's a lot of, I always thought there's a lot of inconsistency because in one certain of the code it says that the board
Public
trustees are gonna have a
hearing.
hearing, and then we're gonna have a hearing,
Very.
and all that stuff. So let's go with the very first one, and this is gonna be on the second page,
06.
3 of 8, and it's gonna be 1885.060. It says variances involving minor deviation, right? This is when in the public interest by action taken at a regular meeting without publishing or posting of the notices. It used to be the Board of Adjustments. Planning and zoning, I added this commission, may consider cases involving slight modifications in the provisions of this type. Then it goes on to limited to such that. But reason why I want to talk about this is because it says when in the public interest by actions taken at a regular meeting. See, Board of Adjustments don't have regular meetings, right? They only call upon when there's a variance,
Yeah.
right? So how do we interpret that, right? And that's how I put it the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Yeah.
So thoughts on that?
Which have record.
Agreed.
Everybody agree?
Sounds good.
Okay.
We're moving on.
The next one's going to be 1885-110. It says,
Application.
it says application for variances and special use permits. It says the Board of Adjustment. I just define this a little bit better than what it was. And it says the Board of Adjustment will have final approval for variances and the Board of Trustees for special use permits. right? So before I used to read without the blue, the Board of Adjustments for variances and the Board of Trustees for special use permits, and then it shall provide the forms and applications and such. I just added, again, the have final approval and the community and economic department. The forms, for us, most of the code here refers to the town clerk. The forms to the town clerk, it doesn't go to town clerk, it goes to the community development. Shall prescribe the form in which the application shall be made and the type of information to be submitted by the applicant. Applications shall not accept unless they comply with the requirements. Any question on that? No? All right. And then 1885-140, filing fee for variances and special uses. A is the filing fee of $310 shall be paid to the town of Mesilla upon filing each application for a variance or special use permit. The fee shall be for the purpose of defraying the expenses of postage, posting, advertising, and other incidental costs. All the proceedings payments of the filing fee shall not construe to be approval of the proposed variance or special use permit. The filing fee is non-refundable and need to be paid before the hearing fee is scheduled. Sometimes they don't want to pay it because they don't have the money or whatever. But what happens when they get denied? They really don't want to pay it. It has to get denied, right? So it's important that we
Get the money
for
when you
myself and for whoever's going to be
Yeah.
doing community development after
Very good.
I leave needs to know that.
You're not
don't
leaving.
You're
do
telling us
something
something
to-
here?
What are you talking about?
Hey, I'm trying to give you hints, man. Don't let me put that up. And I apologize. I reason why the TV is there so anybody that wants to follow along can do that.
Okay.
1885.
All right.
Okay. All right. So then the next one is going to be just underneath that, right? Again, that's just removing the town clerk, treasurer, and adding community and economic development.
Okay.
And the next page, we have
Lori might be
anything else?
flat about that.
Okay, so all applications for variances or special use permits as provided in this title shall be set for the public hearing by the Community Development Department, and not planning and zoning. The other hearings, the date of this, the first hearing shall not exceed, it has 15 days, nor more than 45 days from the time of the filing of the application. I'm sorry, it has 30. That's in red, and 15 is, I didn't scratch it out, so it throws me off.
15 is supposed to
I'm
be
asking-
scratched
So if
off.
somebody asks for a variance,
Right.
that means that I have 30 days to schedule it. That's a long time. I think people need to be a little bit more, proactive, right? So obviously the minimum is 15 days because that's the posting requirement of 15 days, right? But that kind of forces staff, myself, or whoever again is
So
doing
the
it.
30 is crossed out and 15 is.
Yes,
Okay. I was-
that's what threw me
I
off.
was
Yeah, the
confused
red,
about that.
30 is crossed out
Okay.
because we got to give a due process, right? We don't want to sit on it for so long and then decide to throw it in. So I think 15 days is a little bit more adequate, minimum of 15. The 45 days, I think, no more than 45 days.
No
also as
more,
well.
so we have to redact that R, right?
Yeah, the 30.
Or
the or.
No,
NOR.
just take off the 30.
Well, no, I'm sorry, but I'm just 30, it says 15, we redacted 30, but it says days NOR.
Nor more.
Nor more.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an English.
Nor more
lesson
than
right
45
there.
days.
English poets.
No more.
Air to.
Walk of shame right now. Okay, good.
Good.
Very good.
All right, 1885-170, investigations.
It's giving you more work, most of these.
I just scratched that out and put that up here.
He's getting more.
I just couldn't because really it says that the commissioners could be part of the investigation in a sense is what it's saying. And that's not obviously allowed. So the Board of Adjustments or Planning and Zoning or Board of Trustees shall require its own members, its staff to investigate the facts about application and setting the hearings, right? So, that's what staff is for, to gather all the information to give. So, sometimes, we talked about ex parte, right? And then visiting the sites and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's not something that the New Mexico League really encourages us to do, correct?
Question real
Yeah.
quick on that. I thought the Board of Adjustments was allowed, not the planning and zoning.
A Board of Adjustment needs to be unbiased, right?
okay.
So it varies with, it's just whatever basic information is got.
Okay,
Even if the
okay.
information, any of the future hearings, any of the information that is giving you, and you still don't feel like, man, I still have a lot of questions, like, you can still postpone it, right?
Oh,
So it'll give us more,
Okay.
direction. You know what, next time, bring back this, and this. But yeah, really, you need to make a decision based on the information.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Then the next one down, the B,
B,
if recommending to the governing board, for that, I just pick one? Okay, 1885-190, my bad. Action on the variance is no more than 40 days following completion of the series on the application for a variance or special use permit, the Board of Adjustments or commission or trustees that gave final approval by the adoption of the resolution. That kind of helps me define who does the resolution, as far as after it's adopted.
okay.
B, if recommending to the governing board, I added that on instead of adopt written findings, which will specifically all facts relied on its continue. I just added if recommending to the given. So again, some of these cases whenever we hear, our final approval, it's all those are recommendation. I just
Right.
wanted to make sure I define that part. 1885-210, no later than 10 days, following the decision by the approval review. I think I did read through that. No, it doesn't make sense. No more than 10 days following the decision by the approval
Makes sense.
reviewing
Yeah,
body,
that's okay.
Should be
that a variance
approved.
or special use permit be granted or denied, copy of shall be mailed to the applicant.
Resolution.
Shouldn't it be
So whoever's,
approving?
I'm sorry?
Shouldn't it be approving review board?
The
Review.
decision by the approving review board, sorry, I think that might sound
Approving
better.
instead of reviewing?
I'll double check the spelling on that, make sure it's correct. And then it's just because the way it's being worded, I want to make sure whoever gives the final approval is the one that needs to get
Right.
Right,
the
the
resolution.
resolution, yeah, that's been issued. Okay,
And that's all I have for those.
I had a question, sorry,
We got time.
On that one?
1885-240.
1885.
240.
Right.
Oh, yeah, never mind. It was just a definition of what no vote. Hearing, it's that third sentence now, trustees shall be hearing. It's Italian.
240?
Well, it's Latin, excuse me, Latin.
De novo.
But what it really means is starting it all over again from scratch. As you can look it up. So that
240,
was-
which one we at? Which one we at? Eric?
Yeah, 240.
240.
240, and it's the 1, 2, 3 sentence down where it starts, trustees shall be hearing.
Oh,
De novo.
de novo,
De novo.
all interested person may appear.
That just means they're starting all over.
Yeah, de novo, they
From
want to do
scratch.
something fancy.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was
it's all
Mark.
classy.
Latin.
I think
That's
it's
probably-
something-
Yeah, it's Latin.
Not too
Bring out the wine.
Well, thank you, Mr. Salazar.
Yes, that was painless.
Yeah, those are the easy ones.
That, yes,
Thank you for that.
but I like the way you did it better this way.
Yeah, that way you can
Than-
really.
You really chew it in bites.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, I think with that.
Yeah, about a
we'll
5-minute break.
session, and then we'll start our regular meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Move the tables.
Yeah, we got it. Watch out with this cable.
Oh, yeah, good warning.
Oh, no, I don't think I missed go check. Well, I did bring him with me.
On that side here, on this.
You got this.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Excuse me? No, that's, yeah.
Oh, the structure, the addition.
What are we doing here?
Yes.
I'm not sure. How does this go?
We would roll
I've been doing this for 3 years and still.
Yeah.
You've been doing it longer than you did.
No, it's right here. That's your bottle.
Are we good here? Okay.
I think we're good.
They're always on it.
Yeah, I have to wait.
What? Well, I had the, my agenda, the new agenda. Where am I?
There might be, there's something down there. but-
Oh, maybe it was. No, it's just all the code. Oh, man. Oh, that is bizarre. Ugh. I'm losing my mind. Oh, this is yours, right?
Oh, yes.
Well,
So fast.
I know, it's right on the tip.
Do you think he brought it?
Did you look under?
Maybe he took it.
Did you look under here?
Yeah, that's Eddie's.
Save it. He goes, have it. It's in the office. 5 o'clock and I didn't call her.
Yeah, she's.
Around 4, so it takes me 30 minutes to get back, but I would have made
Too bad.
go get it.
You guys should get the time to see the file on the contract and put it in.
Right? Like it really seeps down there from the bottom. It seeps in when it's raining.
When it rains.
Yeah.
Still.
Ridiculous. Well, I can do it.
What,
Oh, yeah, well, there is.
The expiration date and that stuff. When you do different things.
At least I got the.
You found it?
Well, I found the agenda. I didn't find all the drawings and I got them like that.
I asked him,
Just picked it up this morning. For the second.
did you just have it?
Yeah.
On the table there.
I picked up one.
It's
But
You missing the one agenda?
it shows the drawings.
Did you put it on?
It shows, yeah, I got it.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Well,
He's covered in rain.
Yeah, it's.
Kind of.
So that we
Buttresses and, it's, just needs to be done.
She sent it out today, but I listened to it. Oh, yeah, they were trying to raise it at school. Just when she's trying to, keep trying to make it sure. They should just separate. She's so starved.
When was the?
Oh, thank you. Great. All right. Everything's wired. We're online. All right. Well, we're convinced. We're starting the the Planning, Zoning, and Historical Appropriateness Commission at our regular 6 o'clock meeting. And first order of business is, and this is June 15th. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Mr. Salazar, if you will do a roll call for determination of quorum. Appreciate that.
Commissioner Gallegos,
Present.
Commissioner Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Alviar, Commissioner Mulvihill, and Commissioner Walkinshaw. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair Walkinshaw,
Present.
Commissioner Paz,
Present.
and Commissioner Lucero. Mr. Chair, you do have quorum. Commissioner Mulvihill is absent, and I believe you have Commissioner Posby in her seat.
That's correct. And then, is there any changes or approval? Need approval for the agenda, and it's revised agenda. It was revised on 6/12/2026 at about 3:30, and it's been posted at the appropriate places. Thank you for doing that. And so, if we can get a motion for any changes or.
I move to approve the agenda with the, revision.
Second.
All right, first motion by Commissioner Miller, second by Commissioner Gallegos. No discussion? All right, Commissioner Gallegos,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Alviar,
Yes.
and Commissioner. Mr. Chair, motion passes 4-0.
All right, thank you. The next order of business is public input, and it's on just one action and consideration. It's PHAZ case number 062141. And if anyone would want to get up and comment on that project, state your name and your comments. So it looks like, all right. Well, we'll move on. And So next order of business is approval of the consent agenda, which is the June 1st, 2026 PZHAC work session and regular meeting minutes. Need a motion on that?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, first motion by Commissioner Gallegos, second by Commissioner Alviar. All right, no discussion. I'll go ahead and take a vote. Commissioner Gallegos?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Alviar? And Commissioner Passo?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, motion passes 4-0.
Very good, thank you. Discussion about the June 1st.
That's a comment, but I'm having a hard time finding it. It was when we were talking
Okay.
about the mayor putting together a committee regarding the blacksmith shop.
Oh, it's towards the end.
Pardon me?
It's towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last page.
page.
Okay, thanks. It says that I volunteered to be on that committee. And I thought you,
Gallegos, and it was two people, no?
I thought it was Martha,
It was Martha.
but it wasn't me.
It wasn't you? Oh, my apologies.
But I did make a comment that I wanted to underscore that I would like to see more citizens on that committee. And I think perhaps one person from here would be enough and have more citizen input on that.
Good. Involved with Helen and I will flip up.
I mean, that's my view.
Yeah.
1, 2. Okay, I'll make note of that. Thank you.
Yes.
Who are the other two residents, because it doesn't state that have already volunteered?
It just said 2, right?
We
We didn't know.
Who are the two?
Yeah,
So there's two residents that already volunteered?
yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was one that he told me was your sister Nora Barasa, and then yeah, she had volunteered also last
Oh.
meeting we were here. But maybe I don't know. Maybe just asked me to ask the commissioners if they want to volunteer, and then we got. But I don't know who else he has on his list. I'm sorry.
How many people?
I think we were already. I think he wanted like 5 or 6. I think we're already over the listing.
Well, if somebody's missing, I.
Okay.
Okay. We've already voted on that, so we're going to go on to the action consideration. Again, it's PZHAC case 062141. And it's at 2231 Avenue Dave Messia, submitted by the town of Messia, requesting approval for architectural preliminary drawings for the multi-purpose addition to the town hall in its own HC. And Mr. Salazar, can you enlighten us?
All right, so this is 062141, 2231 Avenida de Mesilla. It was submitted by the town hall, Mesilla Town Hall, requesting approval to our architectural preliminary drawings of a multi-purpose addition to the town hall. The zone is historical commercial. The multi-purpose building is being proposed at town hall. Review and the preliminary architectural plans created by Desert Peak Architects is requested. The plans include a preliminary site plan, elevation, and preliminary floor plan. There were 2 public meetings held to receive public input. The proposed addition is approximately a little over 3,800 square feet. A rep, which maybe is here.
Over there.
Oh, it's over here. Cody, I believe. Joseph, sorry, Mike. He is here. It's close enough. He is here. We'll be at the meeting discussing further details of the proposed project. A virtual tour of the addition is part of this presentation. The commission is requested to approve conceptual plans of the exterior appearance in order to move forward. Interior layout of the addition is still under public and board consideration. Again, the email that when I sent this out, the revision of the agenda was for the purpose of putting this on the agenda for consideration. The mayor understands and apologizes for the last minute changes, but he wants us to review it because, as mentioned in our, why does this thing keep going on? Because he wants to move forward. So that, with the public input and with the board interpretation of this, he wants to see what you guys think. And the focus needs to be on the external, obviously, of the building. I'm trying to pull it up here. Sorry. It needs to be focused on the external part of the building. See what you guys think. Oh, this thing's freezing up on me. Sorry. Come on.
That's a thumb drive too.
Yeah. We'll if you already have those on there, we'll skip over to you because this was just pictures ain't coming out.
You're good.
I'm not sure why this.
Any questions for me before Joseph takes the reins here?
Did we have a motion to address this?
Not
I
yet.
don't think we did, so.
Not yet.
Sorry. Let's go ahead and have
Yeah.
a motion.
They
for-
have it in their packet. It's just I'm don't have. Any motion? Who's got the first?
Yes, move to approve PZHAC case 062141.
First motion by Commissioner Gallego, second by Commissioner Miller. And I will have Mr. Joseph here steps up because something with this packet here is not, it's frozen, it's not coming up. So,
Eddie, we have a
And
question.
can you answer a question before that? Just real quick, I did not attend the public input, but was it favorable to add this on and for what purposes are they adding this on to this?
it was favorable and also it was kind of half and half. It was split. Some people had questions about the funding, you know what I mean, priorities, those kinds of concerns, not so much the face of the building. Some did want to have the pergola, some didn't want to have, but they were minor, but not so much, my understanding, right?
I'm not concerned about the look either. I want to know the purpose.
Yeah, the purpose for,
We need a multi-purpose room here.
yeah, the purpose for this, we call it the multi-purpose room, is to attract conferences in our area, right? Such as like the municipal league, right? Maybe have a conference here or any kind of conferences that throughout the state that we have, so we can have people in this facility, a little bit more modern to be able to have, again, more traffic for the town, more business, you know, and be able to host, in a sense, conferences and events. It can also be, you know, rented out, you know, for parties or not parties, events. Sorry, parties crazy. Wrong. Sorry, but for other private events similar to the community building. That's the purpose. My understanding was it was brought up many years ago. I don't know how long, maybe 10, 15 years ago. This process. This is the first phase is to get this side, and then the second phase will be the fire department. You know, I just.
They've been meeting and wanting
Yeah.
for.
I don't.
And nothing's happened, and they were told that they were going, but that would be, now they put a little cardboard to their little building, but that's not what they need.
Yeah. I don't know that part. I know it has something
Yeah, can I?
to acquire from the state, and it has certain rules that you have to.
Yeah, I just want to remind the commission that we're just looking at the outside structure and whether it meets our code, primarily historic, because it's an historic district. So I think we need to focus on that.
Yes.
No matter, we don't have to address funding or anything like that. It's just,
I agree.
We're making sure that we're staying in our lane, so to speak.
Let me just get this in here for you. You can get started. All right. Well, this is Joseph.
Yeah.
He is with, again, Desert Peaks, and then he was going to give you he's going to answer all your questions.
All right. I'm gonna stand here anyway. And I will, whatever questions you have, I don't have a very in-depth presentation. You all know your building very well.
I think you know that it was built in 2005, and then the visitor center was added on in 2007. At that time, in 2005, there was always that plan, that dirt little area for the multipurpose room. I think they were thinking ahead for different events. So I am contracted with the town of Mesilla to work on the multipurpose room, which we're hoping to get design development done 100% by the end of June. And then we do construction documents July, August. So the mayor asked, we kind of started off doing the project as one, but he wanted to push that project first. And so if we could get July and August, that one construction documents, then we are switching to the fire station project, which I've already started doing schematic design for.
Yeah.
I've met with Greg, and so we've already started putting a schematic design together for that. Let's see if there's pages in this. And so this is the current concept plan, and this does have the multipurpose room addition on the south and the proposed fire station on the north. We are proposing a pull-through fire station, which is convenient, faster, and safer. So what the fire truck would do is pull from the south around the building and enter a pass-through bay, apparatus bay, and then pull out on the north. So this is just a schematic design to kind of show that it will work, but we haven't gotten into the design of the fire station itself. But I did want to kind of jump ahead because as you see in the multipurpose room, we are doing that radius on the fire truck. So there will be a little bit less parking in that area. But overall, you do exceed the parking requirement that's in your own municipal code. So even with the two additions, you guys exceed the technical parking requirement.
Yeah. Quick question. That's based on square footage.
Square footage, yes. Yes. Let's see. Let's see if it's in this one. What's in this one? Oh. So the layout of the multipurpose room is one big room. The mayor expressed the need not need a dais because you guys have that here. It's kind of just a very open space with organized seating. It would sit about 190 people without tables and chairs. You could probably fit close to 300 people in there. You can't quite see it. Let me see if I can zoom in. But it is meant to be divided in half from east to west. So you see that there's doors on the north and doors on the south. So you could have multiple events going on in there. And there is a hallway that takes you to this kitchen over here that I believe is underutilized and kind of meant to serve that space in the future. So that could be a catering space or a coffee place or something to serve that multipurpose room. And then again, there's 3 smaller meeting rooms for like 6 to 8 people. And then there's one reserved for storage, for chair storage. But we're going to provide heating and cooling in that room so that if it needs to be a meeting room in the future, it can be. So the idea is to just make this as flexible as possible. So one of the things the mayor wanted to do was try to utilize as much space as possible and as much flexibility as possible. We discussed this drive aisle here, which is convenient, but maybe underutilized. So what we're suggesting is that be a breakout space or maybe a courtyard. That drive aisle is only about 23 feet deep. It's not a big courtyard. And at this point in this drawing, I showed a fountain in there, but we kind of discussing it through with maintenance and everything. We thought, well, maybe a fountain's not a great idea in terms of maintenance. Maybe it takes up a little bit of space. I kind of expressed the idea to make the space as flexible as possible and not to put too many things in there that have to be moved or worked around. So the idea of a multi-purpose room is it is flexible. You know, it's a big open space and the courtyard is kind of I call it a courtyard, but it's a small space that can be used for, well, whatever you want really. But the more built-in things you have there, the less flexible it becomes.
Yeah,
So-
I think another comment. I know I went to one of the I think the first public meeting you had,
Yeah,
I didn't go to the second one, it wasn't available. But I know there were some comments, and I've seen you've installed it, more shading.
yeah,
But it's really hot on that side.
yeah,
From the west side, and it seems like you pretty well accommodated it with the modification.
yeah.
I'd
Yeah, I'd like to present that idea to you. So on the top left-hand corner is maybe what I'll call the attached portico. So it is in the style of territory revival, something like a lot of people call it Santa Fe style. But it is a little bit out. It's a porch, but it doesn't stick out very far into the space. And the reason I did that was to not have columns in the courtyard to work around. And then the second one is a detached trellis, which could be, it's detached from the building.
Mhm.
So instead of, I'm sure you guys have all been in Mesilla and seen how the vigas sometimes rot
Yeah.
and they start
Oh, yeah.
falling off. So what I want to do is avoid that.
Wow.
So sometimes when you have wood sticking into a building, the sun beats on it, the rain beats on it. And so I'm trying to avoid in that one having it as a attached.
So it's a standalone.
It's a standalone. It's not attached to the building.
I couldn't really tell.
And if it's exposed wood, maybe it's rustic wood or something like that. Eventually, maybe 20 years from now, it's going to be torn down because that's just the nature of wood. And the other one is an attached trellis where it is attached to the building. Maybe it doesn't take up so much square footage in the courtyard. So that one might be appealing. I think they do offer, these are all open air trellises, so they do not stop the rain and they do not completely stop the sun from coming in from the top. So they do provide some shade, but it would be limited. I think because it is on the west side, that sun gets really low, it's really hot, but it does offer some shade. So I think these are the ideas that I'm presenting to you. And I have another rendering the color one.
White House.
Set of the White House. I guess that's the distracting part. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this much better.
So this one does combine the territory revival style with the trim around the windows. It's white, similar to what you guys have on this building, but it does have the attached trellis, which could be similar to that rustic wood that you guys have on the front entryway.
Mhm.
Maybe they're square beams about this big. So, and then I'll stand for questions.
I did have a question on, in keeping with the territorial style, a lot of our territorial buildings here have the coating, it's brick.
Yeah,
And I can't really tell from these pictures, other than I like the fact that it's different color.
yeah. No, they
It's
would.
dark color.
Yeah, sorry it doesn't render correctly, but that would be brick.
Oh,
So we would just keep with that same style. Yeah, I think that's important to do.
Any other comments, questions?
So, question, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Joseph.
So we're looking at attached versus detached? Or is
Yes.
that something that we're trying to answer, or is it?
I think that we would like your input on that. Right now, we have the attached portico, and I would say that one offers more space in the courtyard.
Right.
The detached trellis probably is a bigger trellis, and that water intrusion element might be better. And then the attached trellis, which offers some shade, but has the columns that are in the courtyard.
So we're going to detached.
I'm asking you, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Whether we want attached or not, or wait.
You go back to the other picture, I like it better than this one, as far as the color. It
It's-
reads a little bit better.
Yeah, the white is distracting, I guess.
So I think what the question was, on the one on the left, is that looks like it's the attached.
These are all the attached, yeah,
Oh,
these are all
they're all attached.
these are all
Oh,
attached.
that's right. I can
But
see
this one could be made to be detached, like you kind of, Oh, here, maybe I can zoom in here.
And your main concern is having it attached, you have some water intrusion problems. And
Yeah, and we
potential
could,
Problems.
yeah, it's just, I could work on the architectural detail a little bit, but I always like to have a little bit covered over the door.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes it does rain and it splashes into the
Tonight
door.
it
Sometimes it does.
Gives you more space, right? That's the attached one.
The attached one does, yeah, you see how the columns are right in the middle of the
Yeah.
courtyard? So, so if we could push, like if we could do the portico one, then I was just suggesting come out from the building only a couple feet, and then you have more space, more flexibility in the courtyard here. Whereas this one, let's say you're setting up for some event with cocktail tables or something, you're constantly working around these wooden beams. They could be wood, they could be steel, painted white to look like wood. If you've ever been by Toucan's Market, they have that whole portico and they have these white columns. And from the street, it is a territorial revival style, and they're actually metal, but they look like wood from the street. Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the aesthetics of all three look fine in terms of
Yeah,
us
the
accepting
color.
the overall
Yeah.
aesthetic. So I don't know that I feel we can all voice our opinions, but I think it's more it's not our job to choose.
It's not, and it's just our opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the look's kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps going back to 3 feet, more of a portico that gives flexibility, but the look of the attached.
Yeah. I kind of prefer that one. I think it'd be less maintenance and
Yeah.
more flexibility.
We're all for that. Is there any way the columns can be pushed out a little bit more to the west? Gain a
They-
little more.
It could be a more
What would
significant
your architectural
opinion.
opinion be about that?
I go back to flexibility. Sometimes we work with clients
Okay.
in the restaurant industry,
Right.
and it's hard that it faces west. It's a very difficult to deal with. If I had my way, I'd put a courtyard on the east side. Yeah.
So when you're saying extended, like over that last window?
Well, he's saying make it wider, like you have this, right?
Oh, okay. Okay, because I see. That's a good question, because it seems like all the renderings show that window, that last window close to the main entry into the building. Current main entry into the building. Doesn't
This,
seem like that's extended to cover up that window.
it's not,
No,
no.
any of them.
So any of the other
So
ones.
what are
Yeah.
you saying? That you
You could, I thought you meant make it wider.
That's what I meant. Outward.
Yeah.
West.
And these,
So he's saying wider, and I'm saying. longer.
you're saying longer, yeah.
That's-
Um,
because why are you leaving the other
Yeah.
covered when it's already-
This one,
Yeah, yeah.
so if we look at the floor plan,
Unless I'm looking at this wrong.
no, that's true too. So I would just point out so in the main multi-purpose room, we do have a vestibule, and that's going to be around 7'6" deep. So we do have glass doors here, which I think would be nice, and then glass doors here that are similar to your main entryway. And the windows you're seeing are into these alcoves.
Right.
So, and there is a buffer of about 8 feet. So that kind of prevents or helps keep the sun out as much as possible from the main space. If we're ever doing movies in there, then we might have to think about some blackout shades, maybe at this location.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Just a general comment, since it is the west side in the afternoon, there really isn't going to be much shade as the sun comes down late in the day. So
Yeah.
I know that
It's not, I mean,
it's a huge discussion point.
Yeah,
Because
correct.
regardless, it's going to be just.
I just, I like this, like the Vegas and everything. I think it accents not only the front of our building, but the where the road is, with the vigas and the
Yeah.
vines and, so, I mean, if I get a vote, that's.
And let's go to, I know this is preliminary, and I think that's important to know that. So if we're voting on this, the preliminary concept, we're still on the concept phase, right?
We're actually
Well,
a
beyond.
little bit beyond.
A little bit beyond. So what I'm getting at is,
Don't change it.
that's what I'm getting at is, well, you know, still there's that opportunity, right? You can have more public meetings for,
As far as I know, we're not.
okay.
We've had the number of
Yeah,
public
this is
meetings.
gonna go to the board of trustees.
Okay, good. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So you're planning.
Well, I was just wondering how much, well, I won't get into it right now. But, I had a little bit of concern about how this project is processed. When you read our 1833, you know, you and I talked about it. And it's, so I like the fact that it's preliminary because that's one of the components in 1833 080. It shows the process for getting a historical appropriateness permit. So I don't hear any discussion in here about that permit. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah.
And I talked to Eddie about that, and I know you've looked at it, but just, because there's other listening, if you look at that code, I don't know if you were given that.
No. Mm-mm.
Well,
I probably could find
You probably
it.
should.
Yeah.
But that's why I like to hear the fact that preliminary is one of the first steps in
Mhm.
this code, as far as all the information you have to give us, so that we can make a determination that it meets historical appropriateness.
Mhm.
That's what we're about.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm like you, like Commissioner Lucera. I like the concept. I like the picture of what you have here. So if the council is, if we want to vote on that, I'm fine with that. So. 'Cause
Well-
you've had the public meetings and what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it is, we are like, you know, we finished schematic design, we're in design development,
Right.
but they're images, they're lines on paper.
Yeah.
So anything could change.
Right. Okay. Yes. Any other comments?
I have a question for Mr. Salazar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Salazar, my question is on this case, do we need timely notification?
Notification as far as whenever we revise the agenda, yeah,
Is it 48 business hours?
it's 72 hours.
72 business hours?
Yeah, we revise, whenever we revised, it was around 4 o'clock.
Okay.
5 o'clock was the actual.
So we got the time.
Mhm.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was a concern of mine. And it's posted in all the appropriate places, so that's good. Thank you. Any other comments? Are we ready to? vote on this
All right.
preliminary?
We're ready with you to make motion here, see what we got here. Yeah, we got, first motion was by Commissioner Gallegos, second by Commissioner Miller. Take a vote, Commissioner Gallegos,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Alviar,
Yes.
and Commissioner Paz.
Abstain.
I'm sorry?
Abstain.
All right, so, Mr. Chair, 3 approved, motion passes, 3 approved and 1 abstains.
Very good. And this will go, as you mentioned, to the VOT next week, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So we're down to number 7, which is commissioner/staff comments.
Comments. What do we got? Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for coming in for the work session. I know we have 3 in a row. we're probably gonna, I'm probably gonna suggest that we move forward and just process these first, as far as with the hearings and stuff like that, so it doesn't get too overwhelming and, try to do everything at once. And then we'll revisit the work sessions again, such like that. So we require a 15-day notice for our hearings, obviously. But once we get hopefully we get it approved through the board of trustees, then all the hearings will be held more or less with the BOTs and not here. So that will kind of alleviate some of obviously we still got to review them as the regular process as we always do, but once we go there. But the one, we do got to have a hearing in order for that to happen, right? So we'll have one more, hopefully one more, and then we can move forward on that. I'll try to get it not on this upcoming one, because again, it does take, I got to count the days, but it does take 15 days. As long as it's 15 days before our next meeting, then we'll go ahead and post it and schedule it for the Miss Liana is back from her vacation. I'm glad she's here. We did talk last meeting that we were here. We did talk about historic nominations. We're getting ready to move forward on that. Again, we always continue to ask anybody wants to nominate, properties, structures and such. There is a form. It's always welcome. Mr. Maese wants to nominate. No, I think you're exempt. No, is he? He can still nominate, right? Yeah, I'm just joking. So again, it means anybody. So anybody again is interested, please see myself or obviously Ms. Liana for that. I did talk a little bit about the board of trustees, our last meeting that we had concerning the I don't want to call them non-conforming lot, but the road drain. So there's going to be more discussion on that. I am planning with voice surveying the surveyor to have a joint session with the board of trustees and the Pzhac regarding parcels and property laws and what the parcel map and the taxation and what the process is when it goes through a subdivision and how that's handled. So hopefully we can. He said there was an assessor from the county that's willing to come down and give us a discussion and the training as far as how that process work on their end. And I think that's going to be very helpful for us and the board of trustees to hopefully be on the same page on that. Other than that, what else am I forgetting? I had it written down. This multi-purpose use concept, preliminary concept is, like I mentioned, is going to the board of trustees for approval of the concept itself. Again, there's still a lot of work to be done on it. The mayor mentioned something about fountain and no fountain. As Joseph had mentioned, the labor behind that. You mentioned maybe we'll put on the inside. So I don't know exactly. There's still a lot of unforeseen things that we're going to still work on that. Again, this is just so the architect can move forward and then we can continue with that. So again, thank you for that. I know it wasn't a normal, historic preservation 1833, appropriateness permit. But again, this is just, does it look nice? Y'all, there were some favorites, but again, like Commissioner Miller mentioned, it's not our position to determine which one is gonna, we're gonna go with, which is give us our input. That's all he wanted. Other than that, that's all I have. You got any questions for me? Ms. Liana, have anything to say? She's got a whole list, so hang on tight.
Good evening, commissioners. I'll just make it brief. A few things we mentioned, nominations, something I would love for our commission or even our residents, anyone to nominate our acequias. I think it's really important we get those on. We see a lot of construction, a lot of things happening, but to secure these, that is the essence of our heritage here. So please, I encourage you. I'm working on some nominations, but I would love to see. And I've had people come to me, maybe I'll nominate this, maybe I'll nominate that, but no maybes. Let's just get it done because it needs to happen. We need to get this ball rolling. We see what happens. All of a sudden, we have people covering our acequias. So Another thing is I just want to thank everyone who showed up for Preservation Week. It was a beautiful experience. I'm really excited for next year and what those possibilities look like. A special thank you to Gerencia Mimesia, Andrea right here. Thank you so much. It was just really wonderful. And I've got some amazing response from everyone who attended. I had people who attended every event. And to me, and there was about 3 people who did that, and they were just like, "How often do you do this?" And I said, "Well, this
Got
is
the T-shirt.
yeah, only if they got up to speak, you know." Which to me, that was more of the more beautiful times. I really just loved hearing people sharing these stories and how connected. And Commissioner Gallegos, chair, we played yours through the historic site. Beautiful story, and like this is what everybody needs to hear, so thank you for sharing that. And I think it's
Did you give him permission?
they asked for that. They asked for that. I wiped my hands after that. Well, he actually have a full sit down conversation. So yeah, I'm really, and I think this is how we need to show up for our community. This is how we need to show up to save our heritage, our history, and these are things that need to be happening. And so what my approach is within when I pull out the quarterly, and it wouldn't be this next one coming up, the following quarterly, I will also have some kind of event or something to go hand in hand with that. So not only will I be distributed, but we'll have like a preservation talk, a discussion, maybe a potluck, and we'll just get the community together and get people who don't show up to show up. And just a special thanks also to Tom Hutchinson. He really, helping us out with La Posta and the theater and the tours that were offered. And like I mentioned, Get Into Me Messia, and everybody who participated in every way, shape, or form. And whether you couldn't be there and you were there in spirit, thank you for being there too. So, but yeah, I would just love to kind of move forward with this in mind and keep with that momentum. Another thing is people are asking, so what's the next step with the blacksmith shop and what's happening with that? So we're trying to hone in on a sound committee, so that way we can begin to make minor steps. And I believe our first step would be an inventory of what's there currently. I've had a blacksmith come in and look at the space, and I've had that other gentleman, I don't know, he came down from UNM, his father was a blacksmith, and he's really interested in working with us to kind of make this a space that it needs to be. And so, and that's really exciting for me. And eventually down the line, I would love for, after the surveying, like a community cleanup event in that area, kind of just get everybody together, closed-toe shoes, maybe some hats and some gloves for sure. But I think that would be something great for the town. So just keeping you updated with that. So any questions? Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I was out of town. I can only make it on the Thursday and Friday. But just what I attended was just did a great job.
It was very special. Yeah.
it was very-
Thank you. Thank you.
Story.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Tommy, have any? No. All I have, Chair.
We're ready for adjournment. Any
Adjournment?
from that?
Adjournment, all right. Everybody ready to go home? Say aye. Aye. Let's go.
She had it for a while and couldn't afford it. I mean, she's single.